But if you don't mind explaining, what do you mean when you say they try to bait you into a particular conversation or whatnot?
Well, I used to get the whole, do you train? You know,
Okay.
can you share how much you lift on dumbbells? Can you tell me a training split? And I used to try to go, oh, well, I'm hitting shoulders today. I would usually start rear delts on my off day because it's the, smaller muscle I want to pre-exhaust. And then
Mhm.
and then it was like, okay, well, you made me a video pressing, a small child over your head, 50
What?
times. Well, I'm just making it up, but
Oh,
people are,
okay.
it's more like, can you bench press me? Can you outlift me? Can you do this? Can you do that? And it's literally, then you start turning into a whole nother conversation.
So
So you start,
you're
so
speaking of what you're speaking of what's the typical fetish that they kind of try to
yeah,
make you
yeah, some of
feel
it,
into.
or
Yeah.
I see your feet. Can you show me the bottom of it next time, or how much
Wow.
that,
Wow.
that kind of stuff. But it's, my daughter even gets it, just not being a bodybuilder, and that's
Wow.
why I don't put her in my posts very often anymore, because she gets a lot of questions, or
Sure.
a lot of discussion. She's 20, so I
Yeah.
definitely don't
Well,
want that.
I'm not going to discuss your daughter because I don't think that's appropriate.
Yeah,
But King Kamali, I think in a Generation Iron video, plainly said women's bodybuilding is a fetish.
For somebody that enjoys women's bodybuilding, right? Somebody enjoys that type of look. Do you think it's you appreciate the sport, or do you think it's some kind of a, for the lack of a better word, perversion that you watch?
Both. Both. It's a fetish.
Fetish.
Yeah, it's definitely a fetish. Just like you and me, we like bikini girls. It's our fetish. It's a different fetish.
He plainly, I think it was a few years back, and he's a very honest, down to earth person. I've been trying to get him on too forever.
yeah,
He keeps. It's not like and he's from New York, and I'm like I met him a bunch of times, and I'm like, come on, when are you coming on?
yeah.
But anyway, um, I would assume I know that there are women like yourself who just ignore it and put it to the side, but there are women who kind of take advantage of it. I mean, I don't obviously know, and I don't know names, but for example, OnlyFans,
Mhm.
right? There's plenty of women bodybuilders on OnlyFans taking advantage of and I guess if they want to get that much money, it's an easy way to get money. But in their defense, or in all but women's bodybuilding defense, the money's just not there as far as making it in the bodybuilding world. You probably don't get as many sponsorships as a male bodybuilder or as a bikini girl,
Yeah.
right? So I understand. What I'm trying to get at is not that I don't think anybody should go in that direction, because I think it leads to a life of decadence.
Mhm.
And I think in a life of toxicity, I don't think it's proper. But in order for somebody like yourself to really succeed in bodybuilding, you need to make a great living. I mean, think about what you have. What I'm trying to say is look at the odds you have against you. You need to make a great living, or hopefully you are married to somebody that's understandable and supports your decisions and like, yeah, hey, I'll support you, whatever you need, fine. But some people aren't like yourself. You're single, you have a boyfriend. You need to make a great living. You need to be mentally stronger than most because you have to deal with the trolls, whether it be online or in person.
Mhm.
And the amount of work you need to put in to be a bodybuilder, a woman's bodybuilder, is, I mean, it's just, I'm not blowing smoke up anybody's ass. It is just twice what a man has to put in, because you just don't put the same muscle like like I learned very young. Sean Ray was my favorite bodybuilder growing up when I was a kid.
Right.
I learned very early that I'm never going to look like him.
Yeah, yeah.
you know, um, but how would you like to address that? I mean, I know I threw a lot at you there.
I think in terms of the choices on the financial side, I know a lot of people that get into the sport, and like I said before, I was a promoter before,
Mhm.
and people are trying to sign up for things, and they're being told by coaches that if you do this and this, then you're going to earn a great living, or they don't think it costs, $400 to have hair, tan, and makeup done. They have no idea.
Yeah.
Or a $1,200, $1,800 suit.
Yeah.
These are
Which is a
the
drop in
very
the bucket.
expensive- Yeah. And that's not even with coaching. That's not with nutrition. That's
Mhm.
nothing, supplementation, anything like that. So
Mhm.
I actually have a very good job, and bodybuilding to me is a hobby. It's not my profession.
Mhm.
Whereas somebody that chooses to earn a living and this is their profession might choose to do something very differently than I would, that I can self-fund. I pay my own way for everything. And it's one of those things where I've been offered money before, and and I'll be honest, a couple times I was just curious, and I would make the joke of, I don't even know what this person's talking about.
Mhm.
What is this? And
Yeah,
then I
it's
realized,
like opening
oh,
Pandora's box, really.
well, yeah,
It really
this
is.
was like my first year or two. I had no idea because
Right.
I never asked anyone
Mhm.
what these terms were. And then once I realized, I was like, oh, okay. And then I just decided not really to pay attention.
Mhm.
And you brought up like an OnlyFans. I didn't know what an OnlyFans, I didn't know what that was.
Mhm.
And so to me, it's just more like trying to stay as naive and
Some of them,
ignorant
some
as
of the
possible.
girls, some of the girls take a step further too. Some of the girls take a step further, and 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 to be fair, we're not going to mention any names, but there are guy bodybuilders who do gay for pay and have sex with fruit, and hey, listen, you got to do what you got to do to make money. I get it. So I'm just trying to be fair and not saying it's only the women. Guys do it too.
Yeah,
But
I've heard it
I think
pretty much every division.
the access, because they are women, is better. The the offers come easier than it would. Maybe I'm
Well,
wrong. I don't know. Maybe I
and
just
I
never
think
got.
what
Maybe
you
I just
said
never
was,
got approached.
well, there was, a couple, if you think of psychology behind different things and what you said, how does it make you feel when somebody sends you a message and appreciates your work or appreciates you as an individual? That's one of the first things that you have to deal with, of what's real attention, what's quality attention, what is, you know, just somebody trying to be gross or get off on something.
Yeah.
There's so many things that I think it all comes back to the person, and you have to know what you're dealing with, because you've got people that put their way through college doing other professions, stripping, doing, and I don't care where people fall out on it. I don't believe in harming others. I'm not into any type of thing with children, animals, all that kind of stuff.
What do they call it? Furries?
Yeah, that's a hard line for me. But,
yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah, for anything else, you just kind of go, like I said, I stay a little ignorant to it, because you don't want to come off like you're judging someone's situation, but
Right.
a lot of that stuff's not right for me.